Now, the internet is a communication system. It too has these three layers of access. At the bottom layer, the physical layer, are the wires in the computers and the wires linking these computers. These resources are owned. The owners have complete control over what they do with their wires and computers. The wires linking the computers are not subject to any general compulsion by others. Property governs this layer. But on top of the physical layer is a logical layer, the protocols that make the internet run. These protocols are many, all chunked into a single box called TCP/IP. Their essence is a system for exchanging datagrams, but we miss something important if we speak about the system focused exclusively on this essence. For at the core of this logical layer is a principle of network design. At the core of the internet's design is an ideal called end-to-end. First articulated by network architects Jerome Salzer, David Reed, and David Clark, end-to-end says build the network so that intelligence in this network rests at the ends in the applications, and that the network itself remains simple. Simple networks, smart applications. Innovators knew that if their ideas were wanted by users of the network had no power to discriminate against them. This was a network architected never to allow anybody to decide what kinds of innovations would be allowed. This means that this layer of the network, this feature of the network that distinguished it from every other telecommunications network in the past, built this network into a commons. It was, in the logical form, a commons made available across the board without discrimination. The protocols were designed for sharing, not exclusive use. Discrimination at the heart of a property system was not possible at the heart of this system. The system was coded to be free, and that was its, quote, nature. Thus, on top of this physical layer, which was controlled, was a logical layer that was free. And then on top of this logical layer was a content layer that was both free and controlled. Now this is the picture of the complexity that we call the internet. At the bottom, controlled. At the middle, free. At the top, both free and controlled. And this complexity builds a commons, an innovation commons. And this innovation commons has been the location of some of the most extraordinary creativity that we as a culture have seen. Not just innovation in the sense of .com, but innovation in the way that humans interact, innovation in the way that culture is spread, and most importantly, innovation in the way that culture gets built. The future will get built by an idea, the idea that property is good, so more property is better. It will get sanctioned by a culture that has forgotten the distinction and that is so blinded by what is forgotten that it doesn't even notice when the most extraordinary innovation that our culture has seen since Thoreau was a name that most Americans could spell, not on a culture of perfect freedom, not in a world where every layer is in the commons, but also not on an architecture where control is the rule, not on an architecture where every layer is owned, but instead on an architecture that mixes freedom and control, that freedom builds property with a commons around it, that got its life from this mix of property and the commons. At every layer, we are displacing the free with the control.